Asibonge ukuthi upresident ukhona. Asibonge ukuthi upresident uzile naye ezothi phephisani boZulu. Asibonge upresident. Sibonge ukuthi naye uthole ithuba lokuthi azothi dudu kini nonke. The President of the Republic of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa.
Long live the spirit of Ubaba Shenge, long live. Long live the spirit of Ubaba Shenge, long live. Amandla. Amandla. Hambisa uhlelo. Your Majesty King Mr. Zulu Zwelithini in absentia. Bantwana bendlunkulu kaZulu, bantwana nomndeni wobukhosi bukaButhelezi, izindlu zobukhosi ezalapha eNingizimu Afrika zonke, amakhosi nezinduna, the former presidents of our beloved country, President Mbeki, President Motlanthe, President Zuma, former President Obasanjo of Nigeria, majesties from other parts of our country and from other countries as well, members of the judiciary, as led by the Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, the Speaker of our National Assembly, Umama Mapisa Ngakula, the Chair of the National Council of Provinces, Ubaba Umasondo, President of the IFP, Ubaba Hlabisa, leaders of other political parties, the Secretary General of the African National Congress, the governing party Fikile Mbalula is here, Julius Malema, President of the EFF, is here, John Steenhuisen, leader of the DA, which is the official opposition party, General Bantu Holomisa, the leader of the UDM, Musi Maimani. If I haven't seen other leaders of political parties, forgive me, I noticed those that I saw. Leaders of our Chapter 9 institutions, Baphathiswa bonke aba uhulumeni, the acting premier of KZN province, Usboniso Duma, Archbishop Thabo Makgoba, nabaphathi nabameli amabandla ezinkolo ezikhona lapha, and those who have traveled from other lands to mourn with us, members of the diplomatic corps, members of the military command, business leaders, and fellow mourners. Our presence here in our thousands and in the splendor of the various beautiful colors that are displayed here today confirms the correctness of the decision I took to grant Prince Buthelezi an official Category 1 funeral. This is just a wonderful celebration of a life of Prince Buthelezi. Thank you all for being here today. Silapha ngoba kuwe umuthi omkhulu. A mighty tree has fallen. Isizwe sethu simbethe ifu elimnyama. We mourn the passing of Inkosi yakwaPhindangene. It is not only the Buthelezi family and the Inkatha Freedom Party that are in mourning, but many, many other people in our country who respected and loved him are also mourning. The sun has set on an era and on a life that witnessed and had an impact on much of our country's modern history. We are here to bid farewell to a man who had a vision of a shared common future for our country. This vision was his enduring preoccupation even in the latter years of his life. On behalf of the government and the people of South Africa, we offer our deepest condolences to the royal household, the Buthelezi family, and the people of our country. Our condolences also go to the leadership and the membership of the Inkatha Freedom Party that Prince Buthelezi founded in 1975 and that he led until 2019. On this sad day, we remember his words on the day he stepped down from being president of the IFP. He said, "A lifetime would never be enough to serve a country, especially a country I love so much." Love of South Africa was the one overriding passion that defined Prince Buthelezi, because he was a man who just loved his country. It was his love for this beautiful country of ours that in many ways led him to take up a leadership role through his life, having been mentored by the giants of our struggle like the first president of the African National Congress, John Langalibalele Dube. This prepared him for leadership. He was a passionate advocate for the institution of leadership and especially traditional leadership. He was also a champion for the rights of women and rural communities. Ubaba Shenge fought for the preservation of not only Zulu custom and culture, but all indigenous cultures in South Africa. He promoted and respected all kinships in our country, not only the Zulu monarchy. Many of us have been enjoying the beautifully crafted production of the television series Shaka Ilembe that chronicles the history of King Shaka and the formation of the Zulu kingdom. Aware of the deep well of knowledge that he possessed, the producers of the show Untold sought counsel from Ushenge and the late Isilo Samabandla, King Goodwill Zwelithini. His contribution to this production is one of the many cultural endowments that he leaves behind for the benefit of future generations. It is programs like these that teach our children about the heroic acts of our ancestors. It is the music of groups like Lady Smith, Black Mambazo, that taught the world about our great culture. Through the work of Shenge's great friend, Professor Kabim Ngoma, we saw European classical music fuse with African music, gaining respect from music lovers from across the globe. His interests as a leader and a prince of the Buthelezi clan made him realize that our destinies as South Africans are connected. As AmaZulu, Basotho, AmaXhosa, Bavenda, Batsonga, Bapedi, Batswana, AmaNdebele, AmaSwati, the Khoi and San Afrikaners and English speakers, rural and urban dwellers, men and women, young and old. It was Ushenge who said, we have our own history, our own language, our own culture, but our destiny is also tied up with the destinies of other people. History has made us all South Africans. A few years I have always admired his commitment to finding common ground amongst political leaders and parties, particularly between the IFP and the ANC. 29 years ago, on the eve of the first elections in our country, South Africa stood on the brink of catastrophe. Despite the excitement building up to the historic event, the country was in turmoil, wrecked by a spiral of political violence that had begun in the mid-80s. The country was also under threat from a right-wing uprising and from so-called third force elements sowing discord amongst our people. Kwayisikhathi sobunzima impela. Kwayisikhathi esibuhlungu kakhulu. Many people were displaced from their homes. Many people died. Today is not the day to point fingers and cast blame. History will, in the end, be the true arbiter. There were genuine, well-founded fears that in such a climate, the transition to democracy would not happen peacefully. Through negotiations and serious engagement, we were able to step back from the brink of turmoil. And today we have two leaders who played a key role together with Babu Shenge, taking us away from the brink of turmoil. Former President Thabo Mbeki and former President Zuma. They played a key role in ensuring that indeed our transition was a peaceful one. And I applaud them, and we should recognize the very important role that these two leaders played at that time. All parties involved in the negotiation process participated in the historic elections that ushered our democracy. Ushenge would later say that he had agreed that the IFP should also participate in the elections not only to avoid disaster and reduce tension, but to contribute to peace. There can be no doubt that this was a turning point in the transition process and a decisive moment. All leaders understood too well that we share a common goal of a better South Africa. As ANC Secretary General and later as the chairperson of the Constitutional Assembly, we both, together with Ubaba Shenge, shared many moments during the tumultuous transition period, as he did with the other leaders that I've also mentioned. Over the years, we had many more conversations, many engagements, and many late night talks. We also corresponded and spoke often right until his final days. He was not a man who let burning issues slide, and he was not afraid to speak truth to power. And yet, as I have said, the spirit of camaraderie, respect, empathy, and understanding of the immense difficulties we face in rebuilding this country defined all our interactions. He had respect for authority, the authority of the state, and defended the institutions of our democratic order. He was always there when we needed to consult with traditional leaders. It was President Nelson Mandela who said, "It is easy to break down and destroy. The heroes are those who make peace and build." In his long and illustrious life, he served in several positions, but one of the high points in his life was serving as a minister in President Mandela's cabinet when President Mbeki was the deputy president. When he was asked by President Mandela to act as president on several occasions, this demonstrated the trust and confidence that the father of our democracy had in him. At certain points in our history, there were deep divisions between the two leaders, but they did reconcile and make peace for the sake of building our country. Prince Buthelezi took time to express to me his desire to see the IFP and the ANC permanently reconciled and working together to build our country. For this, he earned my admiration. We carry the heavy weight of memories and many heartaches regarding what we have been through as a people. But difficult as it may be right now, it is important that we fulfill the wishes he had for a sustainable and durable reconciliation, not only between the IFP and the ANC, but amongst all of us as the people of South Africa. On this, Shenge and Nelson Mandela were of the same mind. The legacy they have both left us is their enduring dream for reconciliation, for peace and progress for our great nation. Umntwana uShenge was a defender of our constitutional order and served proudly as a member of parliament in our democratic dispensation. He was robust in his critique, but also genuine in his praise. I believe I can speak on behalf of the members of our parliament and our national speaker when I say that we will miss his legendary eloquence, the care and diligence and attention to detail with which he performed his duties as a member of parliament. As an elder statesman, he carried his duties with great dignity. Many will testify that they can still hear his voice permeating through the National Assembly, eloquently exhorting all members of Parliament to uphold the principles and values of our Constitution and democratic order, and to do so with discipline, with a decorum and respect that is fitting for our station and status as members of Parliament, in respect also to the people of South Africa. In his spoken and written words, he always expressed the essence of a deep and enduring commitment to our democratic values. Without a commitment to change, there can be no reconciliation. Without reconciliation, there can be no unity. And without unity, there can be no peace. Our road to democracy was not easy, but the future is now ours to make. It is a common future of equality, shared prosperity, justice, and a better life for all that we must build. As political parties, we have to work for unity. We have to put aside our differences, as Ushenge wished. Here in KwaZulu-Natal and around the country, for the sake of building our nation. We have a duty to follow in the footsteps of the great many leaders who came before that Shenge respected and admired, who found it in themselves to put aside political and other rivalries for the sake of the common good. One speaks here of leaders Ushenge respected deeply, such as John Langalibalele Dube, Nkosi Albert Luthuli, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Pixley Kaisa Kaseme, Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Nelson Mandela, and many other luminaries whose ability to forge alliances across the political divide, to reconcile and to make peace, added to their towering stature. When he stepped down as the IFP president in 2019, he said that his greatest sadness is that he will not be among the men and women who will cross into the promised land of social and economic justice. These solemn words should increase our resolve as government, political leaders and political parties, and as well as all of society, to realize the vision of a united South Africa. What Shenge's life has taught us is that our differences must never stand in the way of our South African nationality and our nationalism. Like many of us, Ushenge endured many trials throughout his life, yet he remained focused and steadfast. The Buthelezi family have suffered an irreparable personal loss. But as they go through this valley of darkness and sorrow, it is my wish that as a family, they should hold on to the proud and enduring memories of their father and grandfather. We share in their sorrow, and I know that they would wish us to share with them the many rich remembrances that an impactful leader like Ubaba Ushenge evokes. May the Almighty grant the family strength as they go through this difficult time. I would like them to remember the saying that those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day, unseen, unheard, but always near, still loved, still missed, and held so dear. To the Buthelezi family, so should it be with your father, your grandfather, and your beloved Shenge. Let his forefathers and God whom he loved give him the crown of life. He did not take easy steps in his life. He showed wisdom and courage. We too, as a people, have not taken easy steps or easy roads. Forging unity, building bridges of tolerance, and understanding and reconciling our differences for the sake of our beloved country is what we are called upon to do as leaders and the people of South Africa. Let us look to the future with faith, with hope, with tolerance, and with a focus on what unites us. Indeed, history has made us all South Africans. I would now say, hamba kahle Shenge, hamba kahle mfoka mathole, duduzekani bantwana bakaphindwa ngene, nesizwe sonke sikwaButhelezi. Akusiyena uZulu kuphela olahlekelwe, izwe lonke lalapha eNingizimu Afrika liyakhala. Ngithi hamba kahle Nkosi yakwaButhelezi. Ngiyabonga, sizabuya sibonane masihlangana ngelinye ilanga. Thank you.